change the combination.
Call this meeting to order. All rise for the President pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. All council members are present. Mayor Stone is absent tonight. We have before us an agenda with apparently no changes. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
No, second.
Motion made and seconded. Updates, huh? Call the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Agenda approved. You have before you the minutes from the meeting on September 18th. Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Joe, second by Heidi. Call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Public open forum. Anybody here who would wish to address the council? Anybody to address the council? Call a third time. Moving along then, we have no public hearings, reports and presentations. EDA report.
Okay, the EDA met today in regular session at noon. They received the chamber update. They did learn about and receive the withdrawal on the offer of the property on the Unger, south of the truck stop. They talked about the railroad property sale. That permit has been issued and the first building construction is to begin. If you go out there, you'll see that they're digging in the dirt. They also talked about an opportunity to utilize the small city TIF, the small city exemption for a TIF for a proposed project. That could be something you will be seeing in the coming months. And then also they reviewed that potential development of that Unger property, and the city council had seen the engineer's kind of schematic, so I took that to the EDA to see if they were interested in proceeding with something like that. And they have no action or recommendations from the EDA tonight.
Questions? Park Board report.
The Park Board met in regular session on October 1st. That was last night. They received the Parks Department report regarding the winterization of water lines, splash pad, park bathrooms, etc. That the playground at the J.C. Park is completed, and they had a proposal for a DNA grant for the EAB for the Emerald Ash Borer. They received the season end campground report. There was 2,942 nights rented out. So at an average of 3.5 per site, that's 10,297 guests, which is up about 13% from last year. The wood apparel fish cleaning dump station is also up. It's almost double. And we had campers from 34 states, 3 Canadian provinces, and Australia. Had some recommended improvements for the campground, site improvements, move the fish cleaning house, boat parking docks, and an online reservation system. The Park Board are recommending amendment to the parking on campsite, and their recommendation is not to include golf carts in the vehicle count. They are recommending that we apply for the Save Station grant, and they received the summer rec report from the school, and they're recommending continued support of that program. And their unfinished business is the EAB tree ordinance, the relocation of the Little Red Schoolhouse, the softball field conversion, and the public beach. So they had a pretty extensive meeting for the Park Board. And you will have some discussion regarding the golf cart later on in the agenda.
Questions?
I just have a comment. It's probably been noticed already, but driving kiddos to school today, I noticed that the Browns Park sign is down. It's hanging, the one facing 6th Street, 7th Street. No, 6th.
Ben must know about that.
Just a comment.
Right. Anything else? Moving into action items then. 7A, approved resolution 2019-71, approving the purchase of a tractor.
At the City Council meeting on September 18th, the Council approved the solicitation of quotes for the purchase of a tractor, blower, mower, sweeper to be shared by the airport and the Park Board. The purchase was to include the trade of the New Holland TC45 and the GT20 garden tractor that we currently have. Quotes were accepted until Thursday, September 26th, at which time we received one quote, and that was from Midwest Machinery, a net cost of $23,534.88. This was derived after taking the total cost of $36,034.88 less a trade allowance of $12,500. So this resolution before you is to approve Resolution 2019-71, accepting the quote for the lawn tractor, mower, blower, sweeper.
Questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Dan. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Joe. Any other comments or questions? Call the question, then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. 7B, approve resolution 2019-72, approving the purchase of a toolcat.
At the September 18th council meeting, the council approved the solicitation of quotes for the replacement of the Bobcat Toolcat. A request for quotes was advertised, and it was sent to dealers known to carry the product. 2 dealers responded to the request. Both companies utilized the state bid for quoting the equipment. The net cost is derived from the state bid cost less the trade-in. So we have Alex Power Equipment had a net cost of $39,413.90. Farm Right Equipment had a net cost of $31,863.08. Alex Power Equipment gave us a trade of $24,565, and Farm Right gave us $33,400. So the net cost is well below the budgeted allowance for the equipment, which we had a budget of $41,000. So the request is to approve Resolution 2019-72, accepting the quote for the purchase of the Bobcat Toolcat.
Questions or comments? Have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve,
I'll second.
and seconded by Joe. Any other last-minute comments or questions? No? Call the question, then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Campground rules amendment.
At the last meeting, the council had approved an updated campsite agreement for the seasonal campers, and we did receive a little bit of pushback on the updated rules and on some existing rules, so the park board discussed this last night at their meeting. The one concern was the rule on excavation or putting in posts, which states that no digging or driving of rods, stakes, posts, or pipes, or any other object, including the relocation of fire pits, will be permitted unless the camper first obtains consent from the campground to determine exact location of any buried electric, water, or sewer lines. There was a concern that we wouldn't allow them to put like shepherd's hooks in for bird feeders and things, and that wasn't the intent. We're just trying to make sure they don't drive something into a utility. And so the park board recommended no change on that. The second item that we had was on the number of vehicles, where we allow 2 vehicles per site, and just in addition to the camping unit. For the purpose of this section, the term vehicle includes a trailer, a boat, a car, a truck, including the tow unit or a golf cart. And we're asking them not to bring excess vehicles to the campground. They were concerned because, you know, they have boats and trailers and cars and trucks and golf carts, and the park board is recommending not to include the golf carts in the count. So that would be the recommendation tonight, is just not to include golf carts in the number of total vehicles, but also that we have to continue to look at where we can find some boat parking or boat storage area that they don't have to park them on their site. So that's ongoing work that we're going to be doing. But we will be reviewing all of the rules for the entire campground in the coming months, but we wanted to be able to get back to some of the campers because it might impact their decision to come back next year if the number of vehicles that they can have on the site. So what the park board is recommending that we amend the rules to not include golf carts in the vehicle count.
All right. Everybody understand just modifying the vehicle count to not include golf carts? Questions or comments? We have a motion to take the change recommended by the park board.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan, second by Heidi. Call the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Approve resolution 2019-73, a counteroffer on the property.
At the last city council meeting as well, the council approved an offer of $12,500 for the vacant lots between 1st and 2nd Street North for a potential storm treatment area. The seller countered at $15,000. And so the action for you tonight is either to accept or reject the counteroffer.
Thoughts?
Personally, I think 12.5 was an excellent offer.
Okay.
Remind us again what the initial sale price was listed at?
The initial sales price was $30,000 for the pair, and then it went down to 25, went to 24. Then it went down to, it's listed right now at 17.5. And so you offered 12.5, he's countered at 15.
So
This is the area that we were going to use for the storm pond treatment for when we do Trunk Highway 71.
So 17.5 is it was their list price at the time.
It was their list,
we
at the time we
did this
made the
last time.
counteroffer, their list price was 17.5. And so now he has come down to 15.
So at this point, we can accept the counteroffer, make another counteroffer, or reject the counteroffer and stick with our original offer.
I guess my thoughts on it, I mean, the counteroffer kind of splits the difference from their list price, our initial offer. Looking at what we did earlier this year for that driveway to maintain our developmental potential, about that same price point. The seller's been paying taxes on it to the tune of about $34,000 for estimated market value. So I think they probably look at that as a factor in their pricing. So I think the $15,000 fair, will fit our need for this storm treatment pond that's going to be needed with Highway 71 in 5 years too. So we're taking a little bit of a future approach to make sure we're covered, not scrambling in 5 years when we're doing the highway.
Any other thoughts?
Personally, I think 12.5 was an excellent offer. I'd rather stay with that.
Now, this is about 2 acres, isn't it, as I recall?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yes, about that. That is about right.
About 2 acres. So 7,500 is what they're at per acre. That, it's my opinion, that doesn't sound like a bad offer price either in this town. Seems like 10 and greater is pretty typical for acreage.
I tend to agree with Joe with the, I guess I hadn't even considered future need as far as Highway 71 is involved. I just look at future need overall, and that north end tends to have issues. So I would agree with keeping or agreeing to the counteroffer at 15.
Any other comments or questions, or no? I'll look for a motion then.
I'll make the motion to accept the counteroffer at $15,000.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion made by Heidi and seconded by Joe to accept the counteroffer at $15,000. Any other comments? Call the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Me.
Abstentions? Motion carries, 3 in favor, 1 against. E, approve an extension of the community education agreement with the school district.
So the community ed agreement with ISD 743 is up for renewal. The city has contributed $9,000 toward the community aid program since 2002. The park board discussed it last night. You had the last renewal letter in your packet, but they've since sent a new letter for the next 3 years, 20, 21, and 22. They're requesting that the city continue with that same level of a commitment of $9,000 per year. And the park board recommended that we continue to do so. And so the action requested tonight from the park board is to agree to the request for 3 more years at $9,000 apiece to support the community ed program for the school. And this is for summer rec.
Questions or comments? We have a motion then.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I'm going to assume that's a motion to
Oh,
approve.
motion to approve, yes. Accept the request.
So we have a motion made and seconded to approve the resolution. That's Joe and Diane. Any other comments? Call the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Approve resolution 2019-74, lot split for Anderson.
Chuck Anderson has requested the parcel of land he owns as Condota Landing LLC be subdivided into 2 conforming parcels, and it's highlighted in the packet. It's across from the Jehovah Witness Church. It's the larger lot that abuts Highway 71 at the Narrows. That is 849 Lake Ridge Drive. It's legally described as Lot 28, Block 1. The certificate of survey is attached. You'll see both lots will meet the minimum requirements as standalone lots. The existing sewer and water service for Lot 28 terminates on the newly created lot, or the lot to the west. The owner has to work with Sauk Center Public Utilities to form a resolution on the utilities to the remainder lot prior to the finalization. As typically, we would not approve a lot split unless it had individual water and sewer utilities from the main to each lot. And he is trying to work with the public utility. I believe you have a meeting coming up next week to talk about how they would do that. And so the resolution that you have in your packet approves the lot split effective upon a resolution of how the water and sewer is going to work with the public utility. That's Resolution 2019-74.
Questions or comments?
Does the acreage shown on, what would it be? Not the aerial view, but the surveyor view, does that show excluding the wetland, or is that overall?
It's overall. But the lot area requirement is not even a quarter acre, so they're well over that.
And the purpose is this 2.01 acres is the interested party?
The owner, he owns both the parcels, and he wants to sell off the one to the west and retain the one that's 2.01 acres.
Okay.
And that's the one that doesn't have water and sewer because the stub goes into the other lot.
Right. It's a lot split, but the new lot left over does not currently have water or
Right.
sewer service.
Yeah.
It's on the other lot. So this is contingent on working things out over at the public utility.
Or do we make it contingent?
It is
Proposed.
contingent in the resolution.
The
Oh.
resolution is
Sorry.
contingent. Questions or comments? Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution, subject or contingent upon the water and sewer service approval by the public utilities.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Joe, seconded by Diane for a contingent approval. Any other questions or comments? Call the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. 7G, approving resolution 2019-75, approving a lot split for Ripka.
Dorothy Ripka at 126 Ferry Lake Road has requested to subdivide a portion of her property to be added to the neighboring property owned by her son. I have it in your packet on the aerial view. The red hatched line currently belongs to the southerly parcel. She's subdividing it off the southerly parcel and adding it to the northerly one. So to kind of confirm that. So both lots will just have a straight east-west line between them. And then, so both lots would meet the requirements, and both lots, the new property line the buildings will meet the setback. And then you have the certificate of survey in there is what it would look like after the split. And that's Resolution 2019-74, approving the minor subdivision.
Questions or comments? We have a motion then?
I'll motion to approve.
A motion to approve. We have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Any other comments or questions? Call the question then. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. 8, unfinished business. Project updates.
Good evening, Council. For a project update on the North Project, they were able to get the rest of the paving done. That's been completed, as well as the turf establishment, so topsoil and seeding was done last week. They're going to be raising some iron manholes and gate valves this week, finish that up, and other than that, everything should be kind of wrapped up for the fall. I met with 2 residents up there today. The Sabrowskis at 502 Lakeshore Drive. They had this issue with some grading, how the black dirt was graded, so we're going to kind of come back in there and fill in some areas and patch that up for them. The other one was John Egan at 524 Elm Street. And then his issues also were some grading of the yard, so we're going to hopefully get that fixed up this fall yet. And then his driveway, there were some workmanship issues with the finishing and the saw cutting. So I'm going to meet with the contractor and look at options for repair on his driveway. That's about all I got for that, so.
Okay, questions or comments?
Thanks.
8B, arbitration, insurance deductible for the police and the public work union.
As you know, the city and Teamsters Local 320 were in the process of selecting an arbitrator for our arbitration hearing. This is because the union elevated the grievances regarding the payment of insurance deductibles during December of 2018. So if you're wondering whatever happened to that, it's still going through the process. And we will have an arbitration hearing, and it'll most likely be here at City Hall in the coming months. So it takes a while to select the arbitrator because they give us a list from the Bureau of Mediation Services, and then I get to strike one off the list, and then they get to strike one, and I get to strike one until we finally come to whatever's left. So it's just a little bit time consuming to do that, but then we'll be able to get to the hearing and get it resolved.
Okay. Questions? 8C, Red Schoolhouse relocation.
Just kind of an update on the Red Schoolhouse. So we're going to start the planning for the relocation to J.C. Park. The park board will actually be working on the layout, but we'll have a final approval for the move. Will come before the council before we actually do it. So we're going to kind of lay out how it'll look on there and what kind of improvements are planned and what the final cost will be. So you'll see that in the coming time, probably to take place in the spring.
Questions? We have no new business. Brings us to the consent agenda. We have before us the consent agenda consisting of schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $100,406.59. Paid claims, nothing, for a total of the same amount. We have a contribution from the men's card playing group, and mine is blank, so what?
167.34.
167.34?
Yes.
So we have a donation from the men's card playing group of $167.34 to be allocated to the senior center, and a donation from Community Connections of $5,000 to the ambulance department. On behalf of the city, I would like to acknowledge those and thank those people for their donations, men's card playing group and Community Connections. Do we have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other last-minute questions or comments? No? Call the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Informational items.
We have a couple informational items for you. The one in your packet, they're charter communications notifications. They will occur in 4 different times between September and October. One is the rate increases. The other one's a lineup change, that ESPN Classic 401 is being removed. Fox Sports 415, 415, and 418 are being removed. And they're adding the Disney Family On Demand Channel 999. So that's it for the charter notifications. And they have to send us those because of our franchise agreement. Also, this is a reminder that we have the public hearing on the rental code on October 9th here at City Hall at 6:30 p.m. That is a public hearing, so it's something where the entire city council should be present. And it'll give an opportunity for questions to be asked and answered, and there will not be any action at that meeting. Depending on how the meeting goes, it'll be come back to the city council at the following council meeting for any action. And then also another reminder that there's a school election on their referendum. That is November 5th. That's the first Tuesday of November, and it's here at City Hall in this room for the entire school district. So anybody, even in the townships, Todd County, and anywhere in Sauk Center Township, Getty Township, any of those that are in the school district will meet or will vote here at City Hall. And that is all I have.
All right. Do we have any further business? Anybody from the council? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Meeting adjourned.